Hi, I'm John, and I'm the Miltech quality insurance dude. So today we are going to do a cockpit familiarization of the MH60. So first, we are going to turn off the battery. Okay, battery's on, and we are going to connect the GPU. Then we are going to put our screens on to basically so I can explain you some of the function and pages of the COC. So basically here you will have the mission display with some of its function, and here what we called the FD, the flying display. So basically FD is for flying, MD is to manage the mission. So now make sure that the GPU is connected. So GPU is connected. We are not going to deplete the whole battery. Then also you will have what we call a key set. A key set is a set of key. So you will have move functional key that you can click on to execute functions, and a fixed key that will allow you to input some stuff. So basically, each time I want to select an option, I can click on the key set, and each time I want to input something, I'm going to click on a fixed key. So some menus can be displayed on the mission display with the fixed keys of the key set. For example, the tune menu to tune radios. So if I click here, a pop-up menu appears on the MD, the tune menu, but we'll come back to it later at some point in a tutorial. So basically on the key set, just for you guys to see the different options that we have, you can choose between cabin configuration. We can see either the troop cabin or fur trap cabin. You will have the doors menu to open doors, close them. Weapons menu to basically select the external loadout of the aircraft. Load will be basically to use and select a load that you want to carry with the help of the virtual crew chief. Then you will have mission docs. So basically those are QR codes that will bring you to the documentation, the mission planner, etc., etc. Config is like miscellaneous options. You can adjust the rotor sharpness, put the covers on, fold, tail. You will have the COM menu. So COM, basically you can adjust, let's say on the audio control, if you want the GPWS, the ICS calls by the crew chief, or the type of crew chief. You will have access to two virtual crew chief, either Rodeo, which is a female voice, or Chad, which is a male voice. I prefer Rodeo. Then you can select the different nav sources or options for the flight plans, like change the leg sequence, tune some ADFs, etc., etc. Then the tune page that also you can use, it's either via the fixed key tune or via the key set itself. Flight plan options, basically to load and integrate a flight plan directly for the mission planner. FTP if you want to load or create a FTP. A FTP is a fly to point. Basically, we are not using procedure as in an airliner per se, no SID, no stars. Basically, you create FTPs and fly to them. And you can end up also creating search patterns via this menu, and to end the attack menu to configure your weapons. Basically, you will select which weapon to fire and arm it and prepare it before firing. the weapon itself. So now we are just going to do a quick walk around of the MD, the mission display. So you're going to have, let's go with the lower keys on the MD. So you will have the tactical page. Basically, it's the tactical view of the situation. So we're basically here, it's NVG compatible in real life, of course. You would like to display like the airports, the beacons, and the airspaces. So you can use page up and page down to zoom on the area. So you can see all the airspace, like VORTAC here, airspace, airports, etc. That will display also the flight plan when one flight plan is entered, and we'll look at that in another tutorial. B2 is not used, radar is not used, interrogate not used, ESM not used. Acoustic page is basically a page that will allow us to use the acoustics. So we are on a Sierra version, as you can see here. And on the Sierra, there is not much about acoustics, so that is a Romeo version page. Then you will have the FLIR page. So basically it's the forward-looking infrared camera, and you have different filters. So first filters, you can use the left 1 button, then second, left 2, and third filter, left 3. So you have some keybinds if you want to move the cameras, and basically play around with it. Then you have the map file. Map file basically put background imagery on the tactical page to allow you to, let's see, counter lines and water, etc., etc. So of course, this won't be really NVG compatible because it's too much colors. Then B9 is in up on our aircraft, and plan is another version of the tactical page when we filter down some option. Then you have the diagnostic page. So basically you can scroll down the menu here if you want, and a knowledge to make sure everything is good, so you can check the system status. And we have also a lot of stuff here, so I won't go through it. So it's basically used for maintenance. And then what interests us is the WCA page. So you would see on the WCA and usually on the MD 2 sections, basically the right section here, which is the information and data display, and here you will have like this first box, which will be the position of the chopper itself, here the caution and warnings, and here the advisories. Also here you have a repeater of the radio frequencies that have been entered via the tune page. So here you will have weight on wheels, meaning that the squat switch of the wheels is compressed, meaning that you're underground. I think that should be useful if you are in dust or in a snow whiteout, just to make sure that it's actually compressed if you land somewhere and you don't see if you're touching the ground. So weight on wheels here. Then you will have like latitude in real time, longitude here. You will have also ground track and ground speed, and here it's the wind here. Also important, the radio altimeter reading here. Then in red, all the warning, in yellow, amber, all the cautions, and then here you will have the advisories, which will be in green or white. Then we will have here different message popping. Here external power is connected. Here you can see the 2 tanks on the aircraft, as well as the total, as the parking brake, and here the stabilator status. Here is basically a diagram of your aircraft. You will have your two engines, 1 and 2, then here the electric systems and the hydraulics. So basically engines runs, then create hydraulic pressure and electric generation, then it goes through the transmission, and then here you will have the tail. So as we can see here, we have the engine shut off, so we don't have hydraulic pressure. The primary servo, which is basically the hydraulic pump, hydraulic service here is in up. You will see engine pressure, which is off also, and here tail rotor servo is off, and basically everything on the tail rotor is off. Same like symmetrical on the right side. So you will have here the transmission, temperature and pressure of the transmission, then number 1 and number 2, number 1 and number 2, and number 1 and number 2 engine. So you will have basically engine oil temperature number 1, number 2, engine oil pressure number 1, number 2, and NG, which is the gas generator of number 1 and number 2. So that's basically what we're going to see on the WCA. You can also use page up, page down to zoom in, zoom out. You can also acknowledge by clicking acknowledge here. Here on the FD, the flight display. So you have basically your attitude indicator, like your ball. Here you are going to have the speed, the altitude, altimeter setting, PSI. Here you're going to have a reading of your ground speed and IS. Here a standard HSI with few modes that we'll cover soon. A radio altimeter with the decision height bug, a reading of the wind, and here the nav sources and the bearings. And also here you will have engine readings. So basically you will have TGT of engine 1, TGT of engine 2, NP1, which is the percentage of power delivered by the number 1 engine. Same for number 2, and NR, which is the main rotor RPM in percentage. So those three are percent. So you can see a scale here and the reading in digits here. Torque of number 1 and number 2 engine. Here the fuel quantity, left, right, and total. So basically looking at all of these, sync is not basically done yet, the timer not yet done on this version, declutter not yet. So you can change via the UCK, a universal control knob. So basically if I want to change a parameter, I click here and then turn the knob, and you will see the barometric altitude changes. Same for heading. I click heading, then use the UCK to change my heading. So this is not going to be followed by the autopilot. It's basically just a reminder for yourself. So to follow a heading when the autopilot and auto flight mode is engaged, you will just have basically to follow it with the yaw trim. So just by pushing the pedal, you make sure that you are going to follow your heading. So this is not like on an airliner. You are not going to intercept LNAV routes and etc. etc. It's very basic. Then you can change your decision height. So basically click on DH. So decision height is, if you do an instrument approach, you're descending to a decision height or altitude, or what we call also the minimums. And if you don't see the runway at your decision altitude, you execute a missed approach. So basically click on DH, turn it, and you can set up whatever you want. Course, if you want, let's say, to intercept some radial, you can click on course and change your course, or for ILS approaches or whatever. So to set the course, click on course, turn the UCK. Then we are going to have the navigation modes here. The HSI modes. So we have 3 HSI modes. So the HSI, which is the basic HSI with wind reading, position of your helicopter, deviation bars, and route and track needles. So by clicking here, you can change to hover mode. Basically, hover mode will give you a trend vector where your helicopter is going and where your stick is positioned. And this square here gives you the height above the hover index you put it here. So we'll cover this more in detail on hovering techniques tutorials. And also you have a map mode, which basically it's the HSI, but you will have here the route depicted, like let's say in the tactical page. If you have a flight plan, a route somewhere with legs, on the map mode it will be indicated. On the HSI mode you will just have the deviation and bar here. So we'll have the different sources. Now you can either click to select for ILS, and if you want to change it, click on the tune page. So we'll cover it later. So you can change the source for 2, TACAN 1, 2, or mission or off. Then the bearing number 1, you can choose either source and display a needle for this specific bearing. So like we can select ADF1 if we want. Then bearing number 2, you can have the needles for an additional TACAN, VOR, etc. And basically you can change the color of needle and have numerous readings here. So let's say for a VOR ILS approach, I would have to select VOR, ILS, enter the frequency of the localizer, and then you will see the deviation bar moving and here the glide slope indication moving. Also we have here the source of the basically of the track, so it either north heading or true, and if you're flying in the North Pole it's either the source, like either magnetic heading or true heading. And you can change, let's say you are in map mode and you have the legs, you can change the range of and the scale of the flight plan display. What we are using also is the EGI. EGI pay is the EGI. The EGIs are basically your inertial navigation system coupled with GPS, so it's hybrid stuff. So basically, if we don't have the EGIs on and aligned, you don't have a starting position, and the HSI won't work, and your position is not accurate, so you're not able to navigate properly. So always make sure to align your EGIs. So just to show you, I'm going to shut down the EGIs, and as you can see we have a lot of failures. So flight display is failed, EGI 1 and 2 is failed, and now we don't have anything. So if you want to align the EGIs, basically just put the computer power on both EGIs, and you can see the 2 EGIs are aligning and the time remaining is here. So once the EGIs alignment are done, you will get a proper position to navigate, and EGIs are aligned. So that's it for our basic MD, FD, and key set tour and tutorial.